Hello everyone, we are going to introduce our our company, CABY Consolidated. It's a camera company and we are going to introduce you our 3-year strategic plan presentation. CABY is a camera company and it is the #1 in Industry 8. And in the overall world, in overall data score, we are number 38. It also ranked number 72 in the world for its stock price, in which we will see it later. Many strategy has been used to be at that level. The company was managed by Anthony Bram as a team leader and Andrew H.G., Cameron Bram, and Aziz Yildiz as the co-managers. We are going to show you our success through this presentation. First, the net revenue. As you can see, the net revenue is increasing year by year. But at the beginning, we had a slightly increased because we didn't get all the market share and we had to fight with company D, in which my fellow colleague will speak later. Earning per share. What is earning per share? Earning per share is the portion of company's profit allocated to each outstanding share of common stocks. And as you can see, there is a little green dot in which can show the investor expectation. At the beginning, we couldn't meet the investor expectation because the competition was rough and it was hard. But at the end, since year 9, the competition was way easy. Since year 8, the competition was way easier, and we could get through the investors and make them happy by achieving our goals. Return on equity. As you can see, return on equity is almost always over. Just for year 6 it wasn't over. Why? Because in return on equity we use the strategy that we buy outstanding stocks, and thanks to that we decrease the value of the stockholders' equity, and it wasn't a small amount that we divided by our net income. That's how you calculate return on equity. Stock price. As you can see, the stock price was low for the 3 first years of our game, but at the end we start to get it. It's because as I said before, we buy it our share, and so as our company was running good, our share was starting to increase, and at the end, as you can see, the shares increase in an enormous amount, and it finished by having like $204. Credit rating. The credit rating is an assessment of the credit worthiness of a borrower in general terms or with respect to a particular debt or financial obligation. A credit rating can be assigned to any entity that seeks to borrow money: an individual, corporation, states, provincial authority, or sovereign government. Credit assessment and evaluation for companies and government is generally done by credit rating agencies such as Standard & Poor's, Moody, or Fitch. Here, it wasn't those companies, it was more like the game was saying if we are good credit or not. For year 7, you can see that our credit was down is because we were planning to sell we were planning to have a lot of demand, but the demand decreased because of the competition with company D. Image rating. As you can see, our image rating is always either at the minimum or way over it. Why? Because we decided to have a good camera, with a 2-star camera with good price quality, in which we wanted to maximize the quality, and we didn't try to have a high profit on it. What was our strategic vision statement? Our strategic vision statement was to be a market leader. So we did a lot of low price, a lot of promotion, and excellent price quality. Where we went away. We headed through an affordable product in which we pleased the customer, and we didn't make a great operating profit through it. What was our target and actual performance? We did safe predictions. So what we did is you can see for the earning per share, we didn't increase very much. We just increased by 50 cents and 40 cents. In which, when we get in the real prediction, as the other company did did not go very well, didn't do very well. You can see a slight increase by $2 and again $2. $2.30 and $2.25. So that's a slight increase that it wasn't predicted because we were doing it safe, but as the competition were terrible at that point of the game, we went very good. The return on equity, we choose 30%, 32, and 34 because it's kind of the return on equity we got every year. It was the same increase every time. So, and as you can see, we really respected it. The only thing is like we didn't plan to have a slight increase in the stock price. We increased it so much is because our company, our image rating was so good and our credit rating was so good and the company was doing so well that everyone wanted to buy our stocks and the stock increased thanks to that. The credit rating, I did A at the beginning because I wanted to pay some loans and I really wanted to increase the demand to be sure to do not be out of stocks. And then at the end we got A plus and A plus because as we pay everything and we didn't have any loans at the end, it was fine. For the image rating, as the quality of our product was way superior than the others, we get 88, 88 and 89.
Hello. For entry level camera plans, we chose the strategy, a global differentiation strategy, and that set our entry level cameras apart from rival brands based on a higher price quality rating and more models, more marketing attributes such as advertising, longer warranties, retail support, or technical support. Differentiation areas. As you can see at this differentiation graph, we have a better advertisement. So advertising differentiation, you can see this number. Better technical support. We have longer promotion and higher personal discount. All right. As for multi-featured camera plan, we chose the strategy global low-cost leadership strategy, and pursue a competitive advantage key to having a lower cost and selling it at low price compared to rivals. And as comparing to our competitors, we chose competitive advantage. We have competitive advantages, and that is an advantage that our firm has over our competitors. And that allows us to generate greater sales and retain more customers, and so on. For local strategy, as you can see, and here we have lower price and cost than our competitors, and the comparison number is here. We have lower marketing costs, lower administrative costs, and our wholesale price is cheaper. So that's why our customers will choose our brand than the other, rather than the other. Sorry. Production strategy. Here, as you can see, we have a average total annual compensation with productivity of company, and you can notice here the high number for number of PAT employed. That is because we didn't want no outsourcing. Outsourcing is expensive, and that's why we have so many employees here. And as industry year 15, here we have a pretty low total annual compensation with productivity of company, since we didn't change nothing and in the end, and we didn't give no incentive to our workers.
For the finance strategy, we decide to decrease the loan. We decrease the loan. As you can see here, draw line with it decreasing every time we were paying. And at the end of each year, we try to have a cash balance of 19,000. Why? Because the cash balance of 19,000 can help us to get through every quarter. As we were paying quarterly, every time on the quarter three we had to hire people, and as we had to hire, it was costing money. So it was very. So what we did is like with this money that we had at the beginning, we were using it mostly for quarter three. We increase our collection of receivable. It means that we try to sell it more. As we sell it more, we really increase it. For the pay loan, we pay the loan year by year. As you can see here, we pay the loan with for year 13 by 12,450, for year 14 20,000, and for year 15 4,300. Why only that amount? Because it was the only thing we have left to pay. We repurchased most of our share outstanding. It's big, but at the end we couldn't do it because it was way too expensive. As you can see, we we pay at the beginning 37 because we purchased 400, but here just for not even half of it, it's like we pay it 1200 220 just for a little bit stock that we repurchased because the stock price was so expensive. And here we pay 14,000, just even less stock that we had for year 14. We start to pay the dividends the dividend as the investor expected at the end of the game, because as we had the money we could do it. As our image rating was high, we do not have to give anything to the charity. I mean, we didn't have to. The thing is, like, as it is high and our brand was very valuable, we didn't pay attention to give to charity to have more image rating. As it is already high, there were no need. And we decrease our interest loan year by year. As you can see, at the end it was negative 320.
And we would like to inform you about our competitors. So from the beginning, your company B and A, they were out. They kind of, maybe they didn't play at all, or they played just for just a little bit. And for first 2 weeks, we're on the second place. Company D decreased the price quality of its camera, and at the year 8, Company D did a very big mistake in which they lost a lot of money, which gave us a lead in our competition. Company didn't pay attention at the exchange rate when they were putting very low prices to gain more market share, but they, on the contrary, started losing the money. At year 8, we chose to decrease our price quality, and it worked pretty good. We decreased it from 2 stars to 1.5, and so the price decreased with it. With our promotion and advertisement, we surpassed all the companies.
So for the last 3 years, we applied a low price and a high promotion to help us gain market shares. And the market shares, when they increased, they helped our retail demand. And all of the retail demand helped to increase our EPS. The ROE is high thanks to the low shares that are outstanding. And the image rating is high because the price quality is much better than our competitors. And thanks to these results, that allowed our stock to increase quite a bit. Our projected and actual performance for Asia Pacific, we were pretty close to what we had projected. We played very safe with this by only doing small increases, and we decreased the average net revenue to increase the unit shipped. And the same with marketing, we delivered the administrative expenses. We decreased the average net revenue, and we used gray units to ship to the retailer. Here you can see that our market shares in Asia Pacific are doubled our nearest competitor, which is Company D, and we try to gain market shares to help increase our sales and to control the continents. And a market share is the percentage of an industry or the market's total sales that is earned by a particular company over a specific time. And Asia Pacific was our strongest continent. And this helped us to destroy our competitors. In Asia Pacific, the actual operating cost and the performance cost, we were pretty close with this. And like in the others, we played it safe with entry-level cameras, and that helped to increase our average net revenue, and we helped to increase the units shipped to the retailers. Here you can see is the price of the cameras. We kept the price pretty low to help us gain market shares, and once you gain the market shares, it kind of squeezed the other companies out and helped to attract more customers for us, and we ship more units to also help to lower the price of the cameras when you're shipping them. The actual operating performance and the projected for Europe was also pretty close, and basically we did the same thing with this. We to increase our revenue and unit ships, and it brought us a lot of revenue, and we varied the price, and the interest changed. The projected and actual for Africa was pretty close also. And in the previous year, there were less variations in the delivery and marketing, the administration expense. And as the demand increased, the expense also decreased. And here you can see that, again, the market share, we doubled our nearest competitor, and that was Company D. The entry-level camera, we beat them by a lot more, and the multi-feature camera, they did a little better, but we still nearly doubled their market shares. And Europe and Africa were our lowest. And we increased it a lot because we went from 10 to 60% with this on in the Europe and Africa.
This is our projected and actual operating performance for North America. We actually had about the same prediction as Europe, Africa, as the same for North America. It's like Asia Pacific. We decreased in average net revenue and increased in the units shipped to our retailers. This is our projected and actual operating production for North America for our multi-featured cameras. There was a small variation in expense, is what we projected, and we actually decreased the expense and decreased the average cost, and we can afford less revenues for higher demands. So compared to our competitors, we actually had the lowest cost, and that's because we did not outsource any units. We were actually a lot below on all the other categories here from what the other teams were, and we had less net revenue per unit but more demand. As we go lower than everyone else, we actually gain customers. This is the projected and actual operation performance for Latin America. This is for the entry-level cameras. We could not actually predict the variation of interest rate, but the fluctuation in the interest rate for the actual performance, we had a great increase in units shipped. We gained in market share by that also. This is the projected and actual operating performance for Latin America for our multi-featured camera. We increased the price to increase the net revenue in our projections, even though the variation of the price is good enough to increase the market shares and retail demand. In this one, we're actually compared against all of our other companies, and we greatly increased between year 13 and 14. Our closest competitor was D, and as you can tell in the first graph, that they were about half of what we were doing, and everyone else were about a quarter of what we were doing. And we increased, but also we increased as company D decreased. Company A and B were actually out of the competition since year 5. The game taught our team that the most important factor is to satisfy the customer. If our investors were expecting a direct dividend since the beginning, we would not be able to go as far as we went. We decided to first invest in the company and make the company's health our priority. We understood that the image of our company was more important than the money that we received. We satisfy the customer first and pay out because our revenues increase a lot, and in the long term we satisfy our stockholders. If the company was real, they would not have to care about the revenue because our market shares were assured to have a lot of sales. Thank you for watching our presentation.